The city is considering making a portion of Joseph Rodman Drake Park in the Bronx a landmark. Local educators tell CBS 2's Shosh Bedrosian it's a victory for them as they've worked for more than a decade to rewrite the wrongs of the past.
This park is like an escape. It's an oasis.
In the center of the industrial Hunts Point neighborhood,
A refuge in the midst of a lot of hustle and bustle,
sits a quiet, low-lying park, a place of auspicious greenery and a weeping willow tree that hugs what lies beneath it.
it's like arms branching over and kind of like protecting the space as the branches sweep down.
It's a spot in the park that's been buried since possibly the early 18th century and located across the pathway from the upkept cemetery of the founding Bronx families, the Hunts, Leggetts, and Willets.
On my left, this little mound is all that's left. Buried below it is the Hunts Point slave burial ground.
There are no more markings, no names, and barely any information on it.
This is the only photograph of the enslaved burial ground that exists so far.
Only a single photo from 1910 that ignited local educators Philip Panarides and Justin Sarka and students at PS 48 to dig into where the burial ground was located.
Kids started noticing stuff in this park. There's an old sign that would show up in other photos. So wait a second, this photo right here, it has a plaque in it. In this plaque, it's over here. Is this the road?
Eventually, a ground-penetrating radar study conducted by the U.S. Department of Agriculture corroborated their research.
It was sobering to realize, yeah, it was real.
It's the reality that the enslaved people of the families buried and honored across the park
We know where some of them are at, but there's probably a lot more.
nearly disappeared in history without a trace of remembrance.
They waited 100 years with being written out of history with no one even knowing they lived.
Now the city's Landmark Preservation Commission is considering making the burial ground a landmark, a win for Panarides and Sarka.
This has been here forever, and it's been intentionally forgotten for so long, and it's starting to be remembered and included.
In Hunts Point, the Bronx, Shosh Bedrosian, CBS 2 News.
Well, so far no public hearing date has been set for that meeting.